I feel like I'm a cheetah buyer. No funny like embrace it by time.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't know how to be a timer. We're always looking at how the other guys did it.
So what we want for our kids is to reprogram them differently so that they tune in into who they are. If I don't look after that life will die. If that doesn't galvanize you to fix your life in every way possible, I don't know what is.
So now she's been locked out day and night. She would like sit at that door, knock hard, cry until she sleeps. That was an everyday thing for 10 days. We didn't see us.
Your daughter is looking at you and she's looking, just be careful how you act around her because she's looking for certain qualities in you. And there's going to come a point in time where she meets somebody in her life and you are the epitome of what she's looking for.
We chose to homeschool right in the beginning because we had 2 children. We were living in Midrand at the time and we weren't thrilled with the public schooling system.
You know? He's earning more as Mutwali has been than he was at his previous job. And he couldn't believe it. He's like, Brahman has been in a pension fund, in a UIF, in a medical aid. And then by then he was at retail. He was working at retail on a contract.
Dad was in prison for years and years and years and years. And, and that was at the time where, high school, just the end of primary school, going into high school, finishing high school, getting into tertiary, Dad wasn't around. Because there was that gap. At the time of Puma, there wasn't really, it was so awkward.
No, I don't.
Why?
I'm not from that law.
Monday.
I know. Look, I don't have Mamela said, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not from that law.
All of a sudden now she wants the custody of the kids. A court in July 2022. We fought for 2 years. We tracked the kids through. I'm a family advocate and everything.
Welcome to this episode of the Timers Playbook. Today, in Bongani Maduna, Bongani, designer by trade, 35 years old. One toddler, he says, and we are in the outdoors today, chilling in your garden. Thank you for having us, sir.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, man?
No, I'm all right. Honored to have the opportunity to share my journey.
Yeah. How's fatherhood? I saw your 1-year-old umpete namhlanje taking a walk there. How's it going?
1 year old. You take me back. He's almost 2.5. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Look, I'll be honest with you. Just thinking about it now, I've had to learn how to open my mind again. The things I thought I knew, I need to have a look at them from his perspective. And I think it's incredibly important for me to see him as a human first, and then go, okay, he's a human who in this world is only what we consider 2 years of age. But in terms of capability, neural connections, he's a human.
Yeah.
Those things are there.
Okay.
I just have a perception that he is incapable of operating, but he has his own way. A chair he will use 5,000 times more than I can use a chair. And I need to appreciate that.
That's true. Okay. So one thing that caught me when we were preparing for this, you said that being a father was part of your life plan.
Yeah.
Explain this to me. You had a life plan, and then the plan included fatherhood.
Yeah. So I often find Abantu live life in a very selfish manner, which I think is important within a certain confines of who you are. But life is pleasant because of everything that's around us, the people that are around us, the people you hate, the people you like. All of those people give you a reference point of how to be the version of you are. If you didn't have those, reference points, you wouldn't be the person you are. Studies have been done where they take individuals and they put them into white rooms. There's no noise, there's no color, there's no space, there's no depth, and you lose your mind. So if we bring that to life is beautiful because of all the different dynamics that we have from different people. And I figured if I'm not going to have my own biological child and I make it to a certain age, an age where I have wisdom, I have knowledge, it is imperative for me to share that knowledge with the young ones coming up. So I may not be a dad or biological father to someone, but I have knowledge that can equip a future version of me, male, black, or male from whatever race that is interested to learn. I then have an obligation, personally, I feel, to share that knowledge, because I don't think humanity would be as where it is if everyone hogged the knowledge they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of you having your own child, the plan was to do what with them?
To make sure that where I live off, so whatever it is, let's say academically, financially, career-wise, family-wise, he takes from that, so the baton is taken from that position. And if anything, he even starts his own family and life, whatever he decides. He doesn't start from zero. So as a biological superior version of me, because he's going to live longer than me, he's going to do more than me, he then deserves to run a little bit further, enjoy life a little bit more. You know, all the struggles that I've went through, he can live vicariously through me, making sure that whenever the moment of learning appears, I share with him that knowledge. I think in corporate, they call it corporate culture continuity plan or something like that. But basically where you keep the corporate memory and then you don't allow the company to go ground zero every time people leave and then there's new people. Similarly,
That's a very nice theory, by the way.
No, similarly.
You know, practice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah?
Yeah, so I think the reason why I decided to go, okay, let me have my own child, because I looked at myself and I was like, conditions are fitting. It wouldn't be unjust for me to bring a human into this world. I'm capable of taking care of them. Myself and his mother decided, okay, let's do it. And I've got the mental stability. I think people can have financial, can have all of this, but I think it's also, there's a huge component of being mentally ready.
Yeah.
That you're going to have a person who's going to go against maybe everything that you do. And there's a stage, maybe they will hate you. And there's a stage where they will love you. You know, so all of these things, but you still have to be consistent.
That's true.
So I was like, no, I'm ready for that.
Okay. I agree with that notion, by the way, you know, because it's also like emotionally and otherwise, wherever you are in your life, you know. So for me, that's why I didn't have kids in the 20s, because I don't think I was ready to have children then. But when I got into my early 30s, that's when we had our first kid.
Yeah.
And I think by then, I thought I have done everything in the streets that I need to do. And I had no idea what fatherhood was. I didn't know that this person was going to come turn things upside down. I didn't know. I didn't read. I didn't do the due diligence I was supposed to do. That's why everything is hitting me like this.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of life. Just listening to you saying, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Because then you get the opposite of that, which is, I did this, I did that. I missed a super planned. I am more fond of what you're saying, that you weren't ready. Obviously, there's an extent of me who would go, there's a proportion that I think, even though you weren't ready, you were ready.
Yeah.
Because I feel that extremely planned parenting or parenthood can also stifle the probability of creating a unique person, because now you've got a plan. Okay, you're going to go to this school, you're going to get this job. The probability of that person enjoying life is somewhat, it's an assumption, but I would say I assume is minimalistic, because there's no room for unique experiences.
Yeah.
Everything is curated.
Okay.
And then if things don't work out the way that your parents have planned, I don't think they'll be excited that our plan didn't work out. Whereas, hey, I've got this canvas, which is a baby. In terms of canvas, the brain is empty, it's clean. Let me give it all it needs to be whatever it is going to be. Because it's going to be influenced mainly by the external world. That's something I've actually started to accept. It's hard. It's going to be influenced by what it thinks is valuable, even though you might know better. And someone said something so powerful. It's like, a great parent only sees that they're a great parent when their child in their 30s, 40s, or when they're older, basically, they want to come home.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, man. That's the person who gave the most about me and gave me the power to be who I am. Whereas a parent who is overbearing, for good reasons, you don't know what you don't know, may lose their child because they're like, finally freedom. Fuck, I'm never going back there. I'll go back there out of obligation. It's his birthday, it's anniversary, whatever. But
You don't want that.
No, no.
Yeah,
You're gonna control me. Every time I come to your house, you tell me this, that. Nah, bruh. I got my own house now.
Yeah. You know what I'm noticing now? I mean, your kids are old now.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
As they get older, I think the need to control a design kicks in. And it's not that I want to usher you and mold you into this specific thing in my mind, but I'm finding that I need to be more switched on now. So like you're saying, now they're going, the eldest one is about to go into grade R now.
Yeah.
They're sort of like at a bigger school, so the influences are coming in.
Oh, yes.
The language, the talk about girls, being naughty, all these other things now that were never there before are starting to creep in. Now it's like, shit, now I really have to be switched on.
Yeah.
You understand? So now I really, not like I wasn't parenting before,
Yeah.
but now like it's a different kind of parenting. You know, when he's here and he's playing, it's all good.
Yeah.
But when they come back and they said, oh, Daddy, I'm going to punch you in the nuts. I'm like, holy shit, I've never said that to you before.
That's it.
You know? And that's them growing.
Yeah.
And experiencing the world. And that's why parenting is then so important, that
Yeah.
you have to provide context, you have to provide maturity. And I struggle with that. So are you of the notion then that you don't design children? And like you're saying, they're canvas and your job is just to guide? You're not thinking, hey, I want to send them this way, these ones.
So I'll tell you why. And maybe this is because of my informed mindset. If I reflect on before I was informed, yes, I thought design. It's possible. Craft this motherfucker, you know.
You're a scientist.
Yeah.
You
Craft,
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've
like,
seen adults being designed.
100%. And
Yeah,
it's possible.
yeah,
It's very possible. I think, let me not negate the possibility of being able to do, you can 100% design your child. Studies have shown that we ourselves as adults, marketing crafts our behavior. So we think,
100%.
I like Louis Vuitton or whatever. No, you don't like Louis Vuitton, but what you like is what you've been informed you like.
Good point.
There's a huge proportion of our lives that is not controlled by us, but we're given the sense of control, so we run with it. With regards to my child and me designing him, I had an interaction with a Zulu gentleman who said something that, for me, told me, you're not my friend. You're not someone I'm ever going to be friends with anymore because you're short-sighted. What if your child is gay and fit? Ish,
Yeah.
And I was like, first of all, the fact that you have a child, you're blessed. The fact that you have the ability to father someone and give your life experience to someone to share with. If you're going to look at their sexual orientation, you might as well hate the fact that they like Oreo and you like, I don't know, Coca-Cola. Like stupid things like that. Because that is just a choice that them as an individual they made in terms of sexual preferences. So I was like, okay, I can't control all of that. But what can I do? And I realized I have to live an exemplary life and trust that everything that I've done is with the best intention to serve me as an individual and to also show them as an example of, hey, in this little tribe, your family, this is how we do things.
Yeah.
This is how we got to where we are. If you want to subscribe to greatness, here's a proportion of it. But the world has its own version of what's great and what's not. So if I give them a template of what is great, it's very unlikely that shit from outside in the world will stick on them. Because they'll look at it and be like, but my dad wouldn't do that.
Yep.
Nah, my family doesn't subscribe to that. I see you, Steve, you're cool, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
And I was recently reading, just to give you an excerpt, I was recently reading a page about how some families way back when believed in design. So this man went out and designed his kids. He wanted his kids to be chess players. So all they had in their house was chess plays, chess games on the TV, chess boards, chess. So their kids became grandmasters. The first one became a great chess player at around 12. The second one became a great chess player at like 8 and just became younger and younger because all they knew in their tribe is that chess is our bread and butter.
Yeah.
So the association with like dopamine kicks and happiness was chess. So you can take that route. But for me, I think there's power in liberating the mind and going, what are you? Based on, I'm going to give you a good example of what greatness is for me, but what are you? Who? Because I'm saying you're a greater version of me, and I'm not going to limit you to my desire. Because what if I die at 45? Now you're left with the blueprint that you can't run with. Because you're like, my father loved chess, and that's why I love chess. And I say that because often you find families that go to church on Sundays, every Sunday, the kids that are brought up there will do what? They'll go to church every Sunday. But when you ask them, do you believe in God? No, it's just the way. Just the
family
way.
does.
That's very dangerous mindset because you don't know what the fundamental reason of going to church was.
And we've known these church people when they flip out.
Yeah. So rather have someone who's like, no, what I did is I took a bit of my father's template. I took a bit of my mother's template. Then I went out into the world and I realized smoking is bad for you, but I enjoy a little bit of a cigarette here and there. So that's me.
Yeah.
I know that it's bad, but that's me. I counter it with 1, 2, 3, and I really enjoy life. So now they've taken agency over their life. So when shit hits the fan, they're like, no, it's me. I can't blame my father. I can't blame the world. I made choices. But if I'm designed, then I'm like, ish, yeah, it's because my father that's all he ever taught me.
Ish.
All I know is that he said chess is the only way. But now he's gone and I don't know what to do and the world is mean. And the world will always be mean.
Yeah.
So my aim is to empower my kids with the tool, or kid, because I've only got one.
Yeah, sure. You said kids.
You know. I just remembered. I just remember that guy. Happy birthday! Yeah, I'd just like to thank my wife and my girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to empower my child with the tools to navigate the future world that I don't know.
Yeah.
But where he's like, my father didn't give me everything, but he gave me the capability to analyze the situation and go, all right, cool. I'm in the water. Okay, I need to breathe. I'm not a fish, so I need to go up every now and then. Okay, I'm in a loud, or like whatever the situation is, he's able to construct solutions in situations he's never been in before, utilizing prior learning, because that's all I can give him. But if I give him a template, that template is not valid in 2050.
It's not valid everywhere. Yeah.
And now I'm limiting his capability, and that's why I'm saying empower and trust. Ogunye, you can only just be an umbrella.
That's all you can hope for.
Just be an umbrella.
Yeah. And we've seen these examples, right? With the typical examples that we know of kids that were pushed into a particular thing. And it's mostly, the most obvious one is obviously sports.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like this, the Williams sisters. Now they're done with tennis now, right? And you need to figure out what the next phase of your life is going to be.
Yeah.
But also, our kids aren't in a situation where they're growing up in the hood in Crenshaw.
Yeah.
And really, the father picks one struggle and is like, this is our only way out.
Yeah.
They've got options.
100%.
And that's the whole idea. And that's us in a privileged position. But that's why we do what we do, right?
100%.
The privileged position is not because it's manna from heaven. It's like you work for it and you get to that place. But the idea is that my child should be able to decide their own path and their own future.
100%.
You know? And when you say, a tough thing is that you mentioned accountability, self-development, right? And taking complete ownership of your decisions in your life. This is not void of circumstance, environment. Bad things happen to people.
Yeah.
We grow up in different environments, but taking complete ownership in spite of that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your kid is 2. How do you even start?
So I think, and it goes back to this thing, accountability. Some things you'll learn because I explicitly say, but again, going back to reading, a good proportion of his learning is the things I don't say or force down his throat.
Yeah.
It's what I do. So I now walk around like I've got a mic and a camera on me always. And that's him. He's the mic and the camera right there.
Yeah. Is he trying to creep out and disturb us?
Right there. So I need to be accountable. And I've said this so many times to people that I'm doing everything that I can to give him the best future I can so that when he's old enough and of age and he questions me and he goes, why? I can sit down with him and so say, son, at that stage, your father just didn't have the best knowledge.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I hope I can make it up to you. If I can't, I am sorry. But don't let that be an indictment on you or be a defining moment for you. Just know that as a human, we do make mistakes. He's coming.
Has he figured out how to open the door?
Say hello.
Stop. Yeah.
So I need to sorry.
I think we need to get him back inside. Is there a way?
So the accountability component is that I am able to rationally explain what I was trying to do so that he can learn for himself through me, that experience of me trying to teach him. And I trust and think that it will stick more based on what I've read, is that those kind of experiences where it's stimulated by self, it's not like imposed on you. So it's something that you genuinely went through. You will retain that far better than something that, like, if you don't learn this, there's a stick. That doesn't stick, as opposed to, chap, you have the option. You know, and the best marketing strategy, whenever you see these help the world or help the kids people, Tsepo, do you not want to help a child?
Yeah.
I'm leaving it to you. And that's what I want to do with him. And not in a manipulative way, but just genuinely say, chap, I can't force you to be a great person. I can't force you to be what I want. But I can support you to be what you think will allow you to give you the greatest possible survivability in the future. The world is a very mean place. We've seen it. Recently, we were watching a bunch of billionaires go down into the deep ocean, and that's what the world was talking about. Meanwhile, on the other side, there were 700 people that drowned.
Yep.
No one said a thing.
Yep.
So that's, and we have to realize that this is the world we're bringing people into, and how do we prepare them for that harshness? Because when things are good, things are good.
Yeah.
But when they go south, they go south. And today's generation, personal opinion, mental resilience doesn't seem to be a thing.
Yeah.
And how do you build that? I can't damage him mentally to say, yeah, making him stronger. No. But I can give him the tools for him to be aware, which, no, man, here, I need mental strength. Here, I need physical strength.
It's almost been frowned upon, right?
Yeah.
So, and mental resilience and just resilience in generally as a person.
Yeah.
When we get on public platforms, it's almost like the greater, stronger narrative is always succumb to that. Don't fight through it. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's and when I look at it, like you it's rare to see, like, no, you can fight through this. You know that, right? You can push through it. This thing is helping you instead of hindering you.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between those that do things that seem impossible and those that don't. But the bigger narrative is it's okay for you to even, I'll say, to be mediocre in whatever space. Like, it's cool. Well, how you feel? You tired? No, take a break. Yeah, it's okay. You know what I mean? You want to sleep? No, it's okay. You're stressed. Man, mental health. Take a breath. You know? And that's the other thing for me, like teaching resilience to my children.
Yeah.
Pushing through things. Not to say that we aren't aware that they need to take a break. Their children, I get that.
Yeah.
But me and you, to succeed, you know that you have to push through things. And there's no other formula to this thing.
I 100% agree. And just listening to you, and it's that pushing through, because the mind does not know. And again, here, stand to be corrected. But again, based on what I've read and I understand and have applied in my own life, the mind does not know that which it hasn't been exposed to and hasn't strived for. So if I don't know that I can actually run 10 kilometers, for example, and I've never tried, I always perceive it as a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
But if I try, I'll have a reference. Okay, for me, it's difficult, but I did it. How did I do it? I ran 10 kilometers in 5 hours. That's your reference point. Can I do it in 4? There's your progress. And that's it. That's all for me, that's all I want to empower my kid to be capable of doing.
Give it a shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you don't know, then you might as well dig the grave and sit down.
And they don't know anything.
Yeah.
To be fair.
So Try everything. If you fail, that's a learning. If you fail, that's a learning. The more fails you have, there's a win building.
Yeah. And the beauty about children is this. So my little ones now, they're at a phase where they like to say, no, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know? And before, I just used to get angry. Be like, no, just do it.
Yeah.
Now I must explain now about hard things and why we do them. But more importantly, like now, the big one is learning to write, working on his grip strength. We're talking about these fine motor skills that our children in the suburbs don't have because they play with puzzles.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just swipe.
You know? And before, it never clicked that he doesn't know this. A lot of things are new. In fact, everything is new to him.
Sure.
You know? But when I do it with him, when we practice it, he gets better. And he sees it, he gets better. You know? And now we forget as parents. We're not paying attention. Like, you remember this guy couldn't walk. You remember that? He couldn't wipe his own ass. He couldn't go to the toilet by himself.
Yeah.
He couldn't talk. But kids are resilient by their nature.
100%.
Meaning that humans are resilient by their nature. Now my teaching is like, remember, dude, you couldn't tie your own laces at some point. Remember, you couldn't walk. Yeah, Daddy, I remember. And what did we do? We did 1, 2, 3. Now we're starting to get a pattern of behavior and realizing that just because you haven't done it, of course it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because you've never done it.
I love the fact that you mentioned that. It just reminded me of a friend who actually left corporate, started a whole business because his nephew inspired him. Uti, he was sitting there watching this little person. They want to get somewhere. They really can't because they haven't learned how to walk properly. Uti, they would crawl their way to wherever. Eventually for him, it was like, I'm in the same position. Uti, that metaphor translated. I am trying to live a life I want. But I'm stuck in corporate. I've got this nice house, this nice life, this car, and. But this baby, he's doing it.
Yeah.
What's stopping me?
Exactly.
And he was like, I need to crawl. Same with me, for example. My career shift to go from, I've been working since 2014? I'm going, 10 years now?
10 years, yeah.
I've been working for 10 years and I decided, hey, let me do a career pivot. And now I'm being treated like a junior in certain spaces. I need to,
because you are in that space.
Yeah. But then, in the same light, there's things that my supposed superiors, I know better than them. But I'm here to learn. So what must I do? I must tone down my knowledge and just open my mind like a child does and acquire and also trust the process.
For sure.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah. No, we can learn a lot from children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with that dude that talks about that. So for me, it's I always reverted back to that. Is that kids literally reflect you back to yourself, right? They'll take you through the whole ambit emotion of humanity. Sometimes in a minute.
Yeah.
From joy to anger, tears, confusion, right? But ultimately, the one thing that I love about kids is kids know what they want when they want it.
Yeah.
And they're generally very clear about it. They might not have the words sometimes, but they know how to fight for what they want. And we as adults, when we get there, because we have so much information in so many layers, people don't know how to ask for increase, how to ask for this at work, how to take a break. We have no idea. That's
Even
what I'm
setting
saying.
boundaries.
Everything. That's why I love my children so much. It's because all these things that I thought I know, I've had to unlearn. And part of this podcast is literally me trying to also learn from other fathers. But to be honest, my kids are teaching me so much just about myself. You know what I mean?
And that means, you know what, and I think we need to just amplify that statement. I am learning so much about myself, and you actually learning from your kids and teaching them at the same time. That whole thing there that's happening about learning, it can only happen if you're present. Otherwise, you will assume this boss mentality. I am older, I tell you what to do, you do it. And that kid is going to run away.
Yeah.
some might not like what I'm about to say, but I'll liken it to like Indra Senkasi or Lalini, because some of us grew up way further than Ilokshin. That dog that's chained with a very tight leash hates everyone. It just appreciates you because you feed it. The day it gets loose, yo, can you? Zonke siyaz, inji loose. And that not to even, let me not correlate that, but from a human to a child and a father, mother, whatever, if you keep mental chains, either holding on to information, I am the father, I'm older, do this because I said so, you're not empowering that person. Their confidence is eroded. They can't walk outside and speak because they need you to affirm. So when other people challenge them, they're like, Ish, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
You've done no justice to that person. You've actually annihilated their self-esteem. They lose outside, they lose inside. They're eventually probably going to do something that we don't want to talk about. And then you go, oh, I don't know why they jumped off the building. No, you never gave them the power to make informed or be autonomous, let me put it that way.
Exactly.
To go, no. Actually, my dad is the problem. Or my mom is the problem. There's nothing wrong with me. I got good grades. You having problems at work, Dad. Let's talk. And that's what you really want.
Yeah, that's an interesting notion.
It's a tough one, but that's what you really want. So as a parent, talking about accountability a little bit, I have accepted the fact that the more I empower my child, I must be ready for. But Dad, last week you said.
Yeah.
So and I must have the nuanced understanding of trying to break whatever logic they trying to, because it means they interrogating building blocks of logic. But if I go, I said so, I'm shutting that down.
Yeah.
I'm not helping anyone.
I can tell you that for free. It's coming. I said to my son, listen, every night you gotta clean up your room. You gotta pick up your toys from the lounge. They're your toys, not mine.
Yeah.
You gotta do that stuff every night. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem. He says to me day after, yeah, but that you left your shoes in the lounge. At that moment, I was like, okay, should I just be my mom and say, what's up, King? When I son, I must see. Time out how.
Yeah.
I was like, no, actually, you're right. I think you're right. And if mommy and daddy don't do what they said we must all do, you must call us out. And thank you for that. Remember to do that always.
Can I applaud you? Because that statement right there is the statement that will empower him. You may not know it, you may never see it, but he'll walk into a boardroom one day and say, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here to present on this project. And someone might try to shut them down. And they'll go, with all due respect, I would like to interrogate what you just said.
Yeah.
Even if they get shut down, but they would have walked out there with dignity, self-respect, and everyone else who's worth their dollar would go, flip. That child stood up. And everything they said, yes, they might have been wrong here, whatever, in terms of like facts, but the way they conducted themselves.
Yeah. That's what you want.
That's what you want.
Tell me about not overthinking your mistakes. Do you overthink your mistakes with your kid?
I think that silence
Ne?
is the answer. Because in my head, I'm like, you're doing the thing that he's asking you if you do it.
Yeah.
Don't answer any other way. You've already done it. So yeah, that's me. That's my admission of guilt. I think, what's the phrase? Burden of knowledge.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. So I have had to catapult myself into a space and place where, the suburbias are not about a mindset that I was brought up in, collective mindset. So I often worry about, am I the right person? Am I doing justice? And those fears are just real fears.
Yeah.
That's, but, and hence why I lean so much on accountability. I'm going to do my best, even if it's wrong. But the day he's of age and can ask me and sit me down, I'll tell him exactly what I was thinking. Some people are, oh, you can't say that. And it's like, okay, sharp. Then your child will go learn it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then he'll look at you and be like, you lied to me. But it's fine.
Yeah.
I would rather him say, Dad, you lied to me, but I see why you lied to me because you're trying to protect me when he's of age. But while he's still young, he's just going to be like, you lied to me. Because you know how literal kids can be.
No, they say that to me all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And that's the tough thing about parenting. Right? And you have to explain. And it's very different to how we were raised, right? You have to try to explain. And I can see their little brain sometimes. Bayangizwa, mara bangizwa.
Yeah.
But I know, like at this age, between birth and about 9 years old, that's when, like, literally they
Yeah.
everything that you're
Subconscious
doing
and all of that.
is going in, and I know they hear it because it'll come up in the random moments where they said, "Oh, you were trying to explain this."
Yeah.
And my little one is the worst one, right? Because that nigga looks like he don't listen to nobody. Nah? He'll ask you a dumb question,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I have children, they do ask dumb questions.
I was about to say, someone's in your
No.
comment section. There's no such thing.
But what I love about him, he answers himself.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, he asks like a dumb thing, like, why are you sitting on a chair? I'm like, oh, it's because you don't want to fall over. Like, he'll do that and then he'll answer. But I think the more you give him answers, don't do that. And he'll say why. His initial thing is always why.
I love that you say that. Don't do that. And I think over-parenting,
Yeah.
beautiful concept at first glance or at the thought of it, because you're like, I'm helping.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like a calculator to that kid. They lose, again, agency. So, again, another book I'm reading, excuse me, it speaks about what do kids need to be resilient. Autonomy, competency, and belonging. Have a fight with your child, but make them know at the end of it that you belong.
Yes.
The tribe hasn't forgone you.
Yes.
So that they can go out to the world and go, actually, as in, I don't like you. I don't like your value system. I don't like the way you treat people, or whatever the case is. And I don't feel like I'm losing anything, because regardless of what I say, I go home.
Yeah.
I fought with that person at home, but I still like them.
Yeah.
But you, I don't need you in my tribe. And so, to your point, you can over-parent to make yourself feel good. It's equivalent to you giving 10 rand at the side of the street. I'm like, you're not helping that person. You're conditioning them to a very horrible state. How many 10 rands are you going to give them to the point where they go, I'm self-sufficient?
Because also once you do,
it's over.
they know you.
Done.
Yeah,
It's a pigeon experiment. You know, the food comes at 12 o'clock, the pigeons will be there at 12 o'clock. So with your kids, similar situation. And studies have shown that if you allow your kid to be challenged, especially to your point, between this age, 0 to like 9, to be challenged, to face challenges by themselves, and only help if it's life-threatening, then their brains form new pathways.
And you'll be surprised what they can do. Also with the right motivation.
100%.
So what I've seen with that is, and I used to be that parent. I'll do everything for my kids.
Yeah.
Right? I'll pour water for them. Now and then I'll be like, go do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and to you now, you start to read a bit more. You're like, no, actually, I'm not helping this guy. So now I'm also like, okay, this thing needs to be done, but you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do this thing.
Yeah.
These are the consequences of you not doing it.
Yeah.
There's path A leads you here. There's path B that leads you there. Make a decision.
100%.
Go talk to your brother.
Yeah.
You guys tell me what you're deciding. The little brother will always decide. He'll call your bluff, whatever your bluff is.
Yeah.
Listen here, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna throw you out. No, I don't say I'll throw you out, but whatever.
I get you, yeah.
And he'll be like, okay, cool, let's do it. Like you're driving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you by the side of the road if you guys don't stop. Okay, leave me.
Yeah.
So him, you have to approach differently. The big brother understands consequence. So he's like, dude, we're learning to write. I need you to do 3 letters for today.
Yeah.
Ne? But the reward is this. We're going to go on a play date later today.
Yeah.
But before that, I need this done because the play date is going to take up a lot of time. Ne? You decide. If you do this, there's the play date.
Yeah.
But it's also like them needing to understand that there is reward at the end of the day. But I also explain it to him that, listen, we're not learning to write so that you can go on play dates.
Yeah.
You are learning to write so you can go to grade 1. Because you are at school. The purpose of it is not you're going to get like a chocolate or whatever.
Yeah.
That is a treat.
It's a by the by.
Yeah. Okay. So this whole thing that we used to do of like, if you do that, I'll give you a treat. I realized that was also a problem.
Yeah.
Right? They need to know why they're doing what they're doing. Why are you folding your own clothes?
Yeah.
Why are you making your own bed? Why are we actually going to school?
So I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. Your kids are going to definitely come back. They
I hope so.
No, don't have to hope.
That's what I'm working towards.
I think the investment and the presentness that you are exhibiting through the things that I've just heard, your kids are definitely coming
Hey,
back.
but sometimes it feels like I'm not winning, boss. Like when we're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and I'm like trying to get him to do something,
Yeah.
or we're trying to work on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, well, someone said today when I was recording, like, Chief, you're impatient.
Mm.
You know, you just have to learn to be patient a little bit. But I think for you, even the mistakes bit, I don't beat myself up about mistakes anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he alive? He's alive.
So can I tell you something? So apparently when you have more than one kid,
Yeah.
you also change as a parent.
Yeah.
Because your first one is like precious.
Hey, not. Yeah.
And then your second one gives you that sense, I've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, with this one, okay, you know. So to the point of being patient and what have you, you don't know what you don't know now.
True.
So, and I think for you, the beauty of what you're doing is that when you do recount and you do account to your kids one day, should the need come, you have the capacity to bring them back and go, "Yakhumbula lapha, no babakho didn't know this, and that's why I became this." And with the tools you've equipped them with, that reasoning capability that they'll see right through the value and be like, "Oh shit, that's what you were. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool, Dad." So I don't think you have to, and that's why I'm like, I don't have anything to be afraid about or worry about if I'm doing everything that I can with the best knowledge that I have at this
At
point.
that point, yes. And if I receive different information,
We move
you act accordingly.
100%.
I'm going to ask you this question because I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
your answer was... I asked you what manhood is. Hey, you gave me a long answer. You said it's
It
a
wasn't
dangerous
bombastic.
question.
It wasn't. No, it is a dangerous question because it's 2023.
We're raising young
Him,
boys.
she, they. Hey.
But we're raising young boys.
You're gender profiling, my man.
Oh, yeah. Listen here. I am raising 2 young boys.
I hear you.
That is what I'm raising. That is what they are.
Yeah.
What they choose later, if they choose, is completely up to them.
So the term apparently is cisgender.
Yeah.
That's as far as I've read.
Cisgender.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm saying then, are you saying then even the phrase manhood then is out the window now?
It's got man in it.
Okay, so what do we call it? Cishood. Anyaboos.
Construct a response. Let me be honest. I think the world is in such a flux. Personally, I'm raising a child.
Mm-hmm.
He's as his birth. He's a male boy who is black. That's what I'm raising.
Okay, cool. So you're raising a boy
Yeah.
who's black.
Young male who's black. What does fatherhood mean? There's a lot of prescriptive material that I can consume about what it means, and then take that and try fit into those templates, or accept the fact that you need to accept the fact that you're learning. Yes, you can go read and go, oh, this is what success looks like. Again, the rate of change in the world that we live in is so rapid. I can't use tools of 19 Yes, there's rules of thumbs that have been well established. So I need to take those and adapt them. Now I need to go, what I thought I knew yesterday and I thought worked may not work. So I need to be responsive. I need to be present. I need to be proactive. If something is really in young Kenya, let me reach out to friends. Let me reach out to specialists. That's the only way. So what does fatherhood mean for me? In a short, like maybe 3 words: present, open-minded, and willing to accept that I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
The question was manhood.
Oh, fatherhood, manhood.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of...
Yeah.
So,
Interchangeable.
and the reason why I say it's interchangeable, you may not be a father to anyone, but being a man, you're a father to someone by example. And I think that there's an important link there, because a lot of South African men abdicate the responsibility of fathers to just fathers. And it's like, no, my man, umalum.
Yeah.
Indlela oyiphatha
Your pops
ngayo.
as well.
Yeah. And also, you may not be malume to anyone, but you're a societal example of what a man is.
Yeah.
And what a father is. Because some kids don't know you're a father or not. So by virtue of them not knowing that, what happens is that they see a man image, they associate it with dad also might do that, or dad does that. And that's why I'm saying, when I touched on this earlier, Oguti, your child will not be only influenced by you. And that's why I think manhood and fatherhood, there's a component that like they ride along.
Yeah.
And I think it should be the born in everyone's mind who's a man and a female of age to go, I have an obligation to society.
Exactly.
What's that obligation? Carry myself in a certain way, treat certain people, treat kids or people of certain age in a certain way, so that I demonstrate the world that I would like to live in. Obviously, not everyone has the ideal or has the desire to be a good citizen. But I think we all actually want to be good citizens or want to live in a city or space that has good citizens. Because if I walk out into the street and someone is like, yeah, vele ngifuna ukushayisa, we don't want that.
Yeah.
No one wants chaos. Yes, there may be criminal elements and what have you, but no one, even criminals in South Africa, that is, are trying to fend for something at home. You know, I'm not going to touch on a global perspective of that, but South Africa, I find that we have, yes, a chaotic space sometimes, but everyone is striving to feed someone.
Yeah.
And that's all we're trying to do. So if we were all examples of what a moral society looks like, I think a good probability is there that everyone would assume good behavior. Hey, you dropped your wallet. As opposed to, hey, hey, you're a young girl wearing a short skirt. Hey, no, you don't need to do that.
And those are the traits that are toxic, you know. And for me, I want fathers, especially younger fathers and younger boys and men, to understand anyways that by virtue of you being male, irrespective of the noise, you aren't toxic just by virtue of you being male. There is a proper need for different energies in this world, right? And if we're just talking about male and female in this context, it's important. I know it's important in my household. Those two different energies work hand in hand. And the fact that we can be conditioned as men to grow up a particular way, but still have the ability now to say, oh no, I recognize that wasn't the right way to go about stuff. I can unlearn, right? I can reinvent myself and I can see the world in a different place. Even though I still have my manly traits. I still am who I am. It doesn't mean those traits, those silly things I did as a 20-year-old define what I do and who I am as 100%. A 40-year-old. Right? But I know what I bring into a relationship. And I think it's important that young fathers, because of the noise, do not allow the noise to get into that. You know? Because if this was 10 years ago and we succumbed to that, not even 10, probably even 5. When literally the whole world was saying that men are toxic. Like just virtue nje of being toxic. That means then I've birthed 2 children that are toxic.
You are actually a chemical plant.
You understand? You are nothing else. You know? And that also just speaks to how society is structured. Just the way we are and who we are as people. The structure itself is not toxic. It's how you deal with it, what you do when you're there, what's your intention, is it for the greater good, and all these things. 100%. But I can tell you now, Chief, if I'm not in my house shouting, being the bad guy, the balance is off.
And I think maybe and because you loosely say bad guy. And the
quotation marks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The proponents of toxicity will say, they'll latch onto that. And it's like, we no longer are able to engage freely or candidly.
And have differing opinions.
100%. And that is curtailing society, because it's basically saying you can only speak about X, Y, Z in this manner.
This.
And that means there's a predefined endpoint to what. Yes. So then what's the point of doing it? Because then just get us to the end. You know what the end is.
Just tell us.
So there's nothing new happening. And I agree with you that I wouldn't say you're a bad guy. I would say you are standing by your values and testing that which you have accumulated as knowledge and wisdom to see if it's valid. Because if you don't test it or don't try it out or don't put it out to the world, then you as good as knowing nothing. But you're going, I will take the risk of being wrong and take the risk of being, well, it's not risk, take the chance of being right. Because on the balance of probability, my intentions are good, the outcome that I want to get is good, but I don't know what it is until I go, hey baby, like, that's not what you do, or I'm gonna raise my voice now because you're actually making me angry.
Yeah, but this is also not even that. It's the time for that.
Okay.
So when you're conscious in your household, right, and you because before, like, well, I didn't grow up with a father, but I've seen this in households.
Yeah.
The standard of raising children is raising voices. For my mother's generation, just always shouting.
Oh yeah.
Always angry. Akere ba jilo ke apartheid lintho tsa bona tsa what. So now I must suffer because of that. But anyway, that's the standard, right? So now we were talking earlier about you understanding your child.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I handle this situation?
Yeah.
What's the tone I'm using? Now, there's always a time for kings.
Yeah.
There's a time for a bit of love. Like you're saying, kids, you said they need autonomy, love.
And autonomy, agency. No, that's the same as autonomy, competency. So like the ability to say I can do something, and then the other one is belonging.
Exactly. You see, so I can shout at him, but then explain why I'm shouting at him, and then give him a hug after that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to give you a hug, but you're still under punishment.
Yeah.
I'm not punishing you because I hate you, I'm punishing you for what you did.
100%.
You see? So what I'm saying about being the bad guy is that if you've ever raised children, anyone who's raising children, know full well these people are masters of taking chances
And manipulation.
Can
I say something on that? Because I threw it out with friends, and I was worried, and I'm still am now even saying it. But you know what? And I think this is the value of having open conversation and interrogating what goes on in our minds. I think, and as I said earlier, there's fundamentals that have been well established. There's some shit that you think of that should never come out.
Yes.
But here, there's been moments where I'm like, I love my child. Not 1 second do I think I don't love my child. No. But there's moments where I'm like, fuck, this little piece of cute little. It's a moment. It's not a defining, it's not the chapter, it's not the book.
Exactly.
It's a comma. Even a comma, I can't make it even, like, it's the smallest, it's the most insignificant moment ever. But I, as a human, am acknowledging that happens. And the reason why I acknowledge in myself is because I want him one day to grow up learning that having tears as a male,
it's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
If you don't have them, that means you're suppressing and you're going to blow out somewhere. I don't want you to do that. So have your tears. When to cry, where to cry, how to cry, all of that. I'll be there for that. So you acknowledging that, yes, in the context of what society considers a bad guy, I may look like a bad guy, but for good reasons. There's a sign that says "Rafah" on that fence. I know why. You know why.
Yeah.
But it has to be there. Even though the bad guys that it's trying to prevent will also be like, oh.
Is it working?
Yeah.
And they a little bit like children. Is it working?
Yeah. So you must also show them that, hey, this is Khafar. Is it Khafar or Khafach?
Khafar.
Yeah, I don't know Afrikaans-ish. So you also show, like, I love you so much that I get worried when you do things that are dangerous to your health, to your well-being. That's because if you didn't care, okay, sharp. I don't want to be the bad guy. I want to be Mr. Nice Guy. That child is destined for fucked up life.
I know, they'll run amok, boss.
Yeah.
I can tell you that now for free. That's the job. That's what part of being a father is. I'm comfortable in my house. Sometimes you just gotta be like, hey! That's the job. I don't even have to move.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let me just shout.
And it makes them feel part of something.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take you as an adult. If in the office you are able to conduct yourself in the most absurd manner and still get paid, do whatever you want, would you feel that company is going somewhere?
No.
So we all as humans enjoy some sense of rules, regulations. Excuse me. That framework of structure. We appreciate that.
Cool. I'm gonna get into your list of tools, tricks, and habits. I'll pick this one. Have a system for your actions. Please explain.
So I think, and again, leveraging off some of the books I've read, I think we all humans in general, no one wants to not achieve. And with that said, we all do things like sippies. I think you've often heard it. When I was in Durban, I used to hear a lot abantu. It's sharp. It's now he has a push. Push.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? Okay. What the fuck are you saying, bro? Like, are you? Is that a healthy thing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you come to corporate or big Johannesburg. Hey, how's it going? Hey, bro, working hard. Hey, push of it.
It's
hectic. And it's like, okay, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
You know? So we all clearly have something that we're aspiring to, and we're doing something. You know, push away, it's hectic, bro, whatever it is. People are doing a lot of things. No one wants to share the system they're using to get there.
Yeah.
Go speak to a billionaire in South Africa and be like, so how do you make your billions? Work hard.
Yep.
That's not a system.
Yep.
Don't fucking tell me that shit. What did you use to get to the end of the rainbow with the golden pots? Did you use Google Maps? Waze? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
What system?
No, work hard. You follow your passion.
What? But ESCOM is working hard. Look how that's working out. You know? So that's where the system ideology comes in. If you've got a framework or a system, then you can apply it. If it fails, you go to the system, you interrogate which component failed, you remove that, you upgrade it, you speak to friends and family. You go, guys, this is what I've been doing. They go, maybe try this. You plug the new component in because everything else works. You know, you waking up and being able to just wake up, that means your health initiatives and efforts work. But maybe you wake up and then everyone's angry. So maybe the way you're dealing with people doesn't work. So then you take out that component and you go and fix that. And that system is something you can pass on. I can't pass on, hey, Nganyam, work hard.
Yeah, no. What does that even mean?
Okay. Time and gas go to weekends. So what does it? Do I kill more people? Do I steal more cars? Or time I know that you work in corporate, so does work hard mean I see my family less because you're already not seeing us?
Yeah.
You know? Because maybe the Ginza example might scare some people. So that's why I mean.
Okay. So, addition to that, it's either I get W's is a win, right?
Yeah.
Wins or lessons if you have a system. Okay. Follow through regardless.
Yeah.
And that one is key.
Did I say key?
No, I'm saying that one is key. I'm saying.
Oh, okay, cool.
Your one was follow through regardless.
Yeah. So I think if you start something, the simple idea behind that is that don't start if you're not planning to finish, because at least you win.
Yeah.
Your win is my plan was not to finish, so then your kid goes, but dad, and like, no, chap, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Hi. The lesson is, if you want to win, have a strategy and follow through with your strategy. And my strategy was not play this game, and I'm not playing this game. So it helps you prevent things like getting into stupid conflicts.
Yeah.
You see a stupid conflict, don't start. Don't be like, I want to correct him. I don't think he knows. No, you leave him. He is in a position to antagonize. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So your win, don't give him the energy.
Awesome, bro. So your last one was you'll stay learning, but I think we've discussed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, cool. Thank you so much, eh? That's our hour. It went by quickly, ne?
It felt like 20 minutes.
It always does.
Yeah.
No, but I appreciate the conversation, man.
No, thank you, sir.
Was enlightening, very interesting. Now I gotta hit you up on those. Actually, we need to put all those studies that you mentioned in the books.
Okay.
We need to put them when we're posting this link.
Okay, cool.
Because I need that, especially the one with the
chess game.
Resilience. No, the chess one, I think I've seen those before.
Okay.
So those ones, they'll come across a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the resilience is like one of my big themes that I really want to get through to my kids.
Okay. Yeah, no, look, I'll share what I can. And I think that's another thing, like, that we don't have, like, in South Africa is there's no space. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's, like, podcasts and websites that people can go to, but there's nothing that's really jumping out at you in comparison to what, like, marketing people are doing, that's saying, here's a space for young fathers.
I'll say there isn't enough of it. So there's enough of entertainment, fluff, current affairs, politics, you know. But there's little stuff of substance that is really going to push humanity forward. And if you think about it, there aren't a lot of podcasts, especially in South Africa, where it's going to challenge who you think you are so that you can be better. There isn't a lot of that.
No.
Like, shit, I need to listen to this. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was this, but now I have to rethink and challenge and apply it.
Just as an ad lib, as we get older, a lot of people don't want to be challenged because it makes them uncomfortable. And I've acquired its wealth. I've done all of these things. I'm a big shot. And you're saying I don't know? I can't be seen like that. Very dangerous space to be. Don't want to be in that. So I think maybe that's why there's a lot of, or there's minimal attention given to these empowering tools. Because remember, if I empower you, Tsepo, I give you the capability to challenge me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of big men who are probably sitting in big positions who are like, no, why would you want to empower the general public? Just means that we have to work harder to stay where we are. But I'll leave it there because that's
another one. I hear that. So, bro, thank you very much.
All right.
That's it for today. Sure. Thank you so much to our guest for taking the time to share their story. In fact, thank you to all the guests for coming on to this podcast. Most importantly, thank you to you, our loyal listener. None of this is possible without you. If you haven't already, before you leave, please rate the content and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any updates. Until next time, hola.